morning, everyone. Buenos dias a todos. Thank you so much for having us and giving us the opportunity to share our growth and journey through the practice of family and community engagement. The first thing that I would like to do is introduce our CEI team. We have Dr. Lorraine Perez, who's our Deputy Superintendent of Educational Services, Elisa Briceño, Sandoval and Lizeth Martinez Acebo, our FACE specialists who help oversee, coach, and support our FACE staff. Dr. Kerry Brown, who leads an exceptional FACE practice at Garfield Elementary. Leslie Mondragon, who has joined our group recently and has been shining through and through at Garfield Elementary. And Sherry Newman, who so graciously from OCDE has accepted to walk with us in this journey. Veronica Gomez, who's our parent, our leader, and provides not only the parent lens, but also the grandparent lens. And obviously you, Carlos, for walking and learning with us. So thank you so much. And we're excited to start with this whole thing. So today we're going to be focusing on 4 things: the foundational and historical context of FACE in Santa Ana Unified. The second part will be the role of FACE, the practice of family and community engagement here at SAUSD, our process and alignment of FACE, and finally, looking to the future. As we know, COVID has thrown in a couple of wrenches, and we'll be talking about how we've been reflective in our practices and how we continue to shift and try to address the needs of our families through this whole process. Who we are. Up to about 12 years ago, and my fellow mentor who's here, Michelle, will be able to note and say yes, we were the point of entry for most incoming children from Latin America. Things have changed. We continue to have a high population of students who come from Latin America. We are 88% free and reduced lunch, which means that every child in our district gets free and reduced lunch. We went from being the 6th largest school district in California and the largest in Orange County. And because of the cost of living and other factors, we are now the 10th largest school district in California. We partner and work with 47,000 students to support them through partnerships, obviously, with our employees, which we have about 5,500. And we have 36 elementary schools, 7 high schools, and 8 intermediate schools. We have a pre-K to ATP, adult transition program, and our focus is always the well-being of our students. What is going on with Santa Ana, and how is FACE aligned to the LCAP goal? As we know, the LCAP is new and it's staying with us. It's guiding how we fund. And goal 2 is exactly focused on family and community engagement, establishing the collaboration and communication across all levels of the district among students, staff, families, and communities. This is our definition of family and community engagement. And you're going to see some of those words reflected in the CEI's definition. Family engagement is a full, equal, and equitable partnership among families, educators, community partners to promote children's learning and development from birth through college and career. And I'm going to make a little pause right here. We as a district, our focus has always been and I have to correct my words. We went from the involvement of parents to the engagement of parents, and I'll go into greater detail on that. But I want to stop here to make sure that I make that very clear, that from now on, and part of the change that we've been embarking in has been this authentic engagement with our families and not just our parents. So what are we doing? How are we doing it? It's a practice. And I say this because a lot of the times when in education, those of us who have been here for a while, we tend to think of pendulum swings, programs, a plethora of things that are not embedded and integrated into what we do and how we do it. FACE is part of our pedagogy, if we really want to look at it that, right? It is these trusting relationships that are interconnected in every department, in every division, to support the needs of our families, of our students. So who do we work with? We work with our entire Ed Services team, which is comprised of our teaching and learning, our special education, our school performance and climate, anything and everyone who supports students. That is who FACE works with. And this is one of my favorite, and those of you who know me will know, we go from Maslow's to Bloom's. A lot of the times when many people think of involvement of parents, we think of what I refer to as giving our families a cookie, this very deficit mentality, not acknowledging everything that they bring to the table, not acknowledging the funds of knowledge, all these treasures. And we do that in the classroom, and oftentimes we do that with families. So part of what the practice of family and community engagement at Santa Ana Unified has been identifying the difference between what those basic hierarchy of needs are and how FACE is an integrated link to learning component to support students through this authentic partnership with families. We have wellness centers in a period of 2 years. We set up 56 wellness centers, one at each one of our schools, and they're staffed with FACE partners. We're in the process of doing some restructuring that I'll talk about in a little bit. But the wellness centers are a space for families to come and try to connect in a variety of ways, and in essence break down the educational code and structure that many of us are not privy to, right, as first generation. And the practice of family and community engagement connects those resources and then takes them back to the classroom to make sure that there's a seamless connection and an ecosystem with the families, with the staff, to support the students. So FACE in SAUSD. Here's our current organizational structure. Right now, I have the pleasure and privilege of supporting and working with a coordinator of FACE. That position is currently vacant. We have 4 grant-funded FACE specialists, 2 of which are here and I introduced earlier. And each one of them oversees a region. We've broken our district down into regions. Right now, well, as of a week ago, this is what it looked like. 18 FACE liaisons that supported the secondary schools one-to-one, and then 18 FACE workers who supported the elementary schools 2-to-1. We got a board approval on Tuesday of last week, so a week ago, and now we have all of our staff is FACE liaisons, and as of 2021 in the fall, we're going to be working on a Carlos Agárrate, on a one-to-one model. So it's going to be phenomenal, yes. So what does this look like? And again, I'm constantly talking about this asset-based lens as a product of the community and understanding our community as well as I do, and also having worked here for a couple of decades now. It is about working with our families, honoring what they bring to the table, valuing their contributions, and in turn, valuing the funds of knowledge that students bring to the table. As we continue to move forward in acknowledging and embracing this multicultural world perspective, we need to do so in our practice, and we do this through the engagements that we have with our families and community members. Okay, Elisa, I'm gonna hand it over to you.
Wonderful. Hello, my name is Elisa. Like Susie mentioned, I am a FACE specialist in our school district. And like Susie mentioned, we have our wellness centers. And really, these wellness centers allow us to host community hours so that we can build relationships with families. But also, what we're really trying to do is build the social capital in the community, because we know that this will provide our families additional support networks. All of our community hours across the line in our wellness centers include icebreakers and opportunities for our families to network. Due to these relationships, what we really see in this community building, many of the times our families see our FACE staff as that initial point of contact, because they do develop these really close-knit, interesting relationships with them. And some examples of these community hours include informal dialogue with coffee, cooking classes hosted by staff and parents, and also opportunities for families to share cultural practices, foods, holidays. And what has been amazing this last year is that as parents are starting to feel more confident, we're actually starting to see some of our community hours transition into being family led. And as many of us have experienced, right, during this pandemic, digital literacy and access has become absolutely crucial for our families. And so with that lens, last summer, we really focused on building out our presentations around email, Parent Square, Zoom, Aries, and other academic softwares that we utilize within the district. We also created videos around the presentations and uploaded them onto our Google sites. And at each school site, our FACE staff actually hosts a weekly technology hour, which is focused around digital literacy, capacity building, and that one-to-one tech support. That has really, I think that some of the feedback that we've gotten is that this specific component has really been of so much value to our families because it's been a very difficult year. And I think this one-to-one tech support has been crucial in really helping them transition into becoming now that support system and that teacher at home. Some of the other things that we've done around digital access and literacy is created tools, and we're consistently sharing out these tools via our social communication platforms, both that we have at the district level and that we have at the site level. And in our wellness centers, we also facilitate 3 hours of monthly programming related to topics to academics, mental health, child development. We really collaborate with our administrators, counselors, social workers, higher education counselors, local colleges, and other external partners to host these workshops. And a couple of examples of this programming this year have been different workshops, for example, how to prepare for MAP testing, getting ready for parent-teacher conferences, distance learning tips, chat with your counselor, GATE and AVID parent nights, and literacy and STEM nights. And we've really seen these opportunities for programming to help that capacity building component that we want to within the FACE department. And it also provides us an opportunity, of course, to connect with families in the community and really build upon those relationships. And as Susie mentioned, we really do see that angle and lens of Maslow's before Bloom's. So one of the key areas or components where we provide that support system is through our resource lines. We do have 37 resource lines, 36 are staff lines from our FACE partners at school sites, and one of them is our district resource line. On this slide, we have included our QR code for our link tree, where you will be able to find all of our links for our FACE Facebook page, our Google site, our bi-monthly SMORE newsletter, and many other resources. And truly, it really is about connecting the pieces, being that navigator for our families, and helping them identify what it is that they need in terms of, either housing support or connecting with the teacher or connecting with the counselor, mental health support, and being constantly that navigator for them. I will now transition to our amazing principal at Garfield Elementary, Kerry Brown.
Thank you, Elisa. I'm Kerry Brown, the prep principal here at Garfield, and I've been with Santa Ana only for a very short time, about 18 months. But I brought with me to Santa Ana deep passion and understanding of the FACE practice and partnership on how it plays on our students' learning. And since I've been here, we've built FACE at Garfield together in partnership with my FACE workers and this amazing team here with me today. I could not do the work I'm doing without their ongoing support. As you see here on this slide at Garfield, we have a two-pronged approach to how we do things. We start with a link to learning for our students and relationship building through a variety of outlets. The primary role of myself and Leslie, my FACE worker, is to build the capacity in our community and with the entire staff, as every individual plays a vital role in this process. You'll see here on this slide some of the work that we have collaborated together on throughout this year. This work exceeds just these bulleted items, but these are the ones that have been most impactful here at Garfield. You'll see things like our LCAP listening sessions and different partnerships we've had with Latino Health Access, our attendance team to ensure that students are engaged and participating in our learning. We've worked to build family relationships at our monthly general parent meetings and our community chats that we hold we've held throughout this last year. Additionally, here at Garfield, we provided a few other items to address the needs of our greater community. The biggest need that we really have experienced since this pandemic has started, as many of you probably are experiencing similar ones, was technology and that digital access and how to understand how to log in and how to access platforms such as Google Classroom and Zoom and different educational platforms. Internet accessibility has also been a huge challenge for us, and routines and procedures of general virtual learning. And the work that I have done with FACE has allowed my families to have access to the educational process while we've still been in distance learning. Additionally, we've put together a Google site where we provide additional outreach and resources to our families. And that has been built out since the start of this pandemic, and the model of how we communicate with our families through FACE to allow them to access the resources they need on their time. It houses all the resources for the families, and it's shared with my staff. You'll also see that we've provided many basic outreach and resources for our families since the start of the pandemic, because as we stated earlier, we must address those Maslow needs before we can move into the blooms. My community was heavily impacted by COVID, and testing and vaccine outreach was imperative for us to be able to move forward. Additionally, basic food resources was a general need of our community at the start, and we've partnered with the Second Harvest Food Bank in Orange County and have a mobile food pantry at our site where all the district FACE workers come and support the work that we're doing and impact our community and have the opportunity to interact with my families. We also have a large social media presence. So you'll see we use Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Linktree, and Parent Square as our district communication tool to get all of these outreach and resources out and shared with our community. And we welcome you to follow both SAUSD and Garfield to see some of the wonderful work that we're doing here. And at this time, I would invite Veronica, one of my parents, to share her perspective this morning. Veronica?
Good morning. So it's been a very challenging year, a lot of learning, still learning, a big transition and a lot of frustration, I think, has been the topic of the year to the transition of the model of educating the children at home now. So it's been a challenging at our home, and the support that I got from the school district was at the beginning of the pandemic and through the whole year in regards of connection with the internet and how to navigate all the tools that are available through the Google Classroom. We're still learning because it's just seems to be very sometimes complicated to find all the different resources at the Google Classroom. However, I think it's just a matter of getting used to them. But in our family, our main difficulties was at the beginning of the pandemic, getting those connections solid and getting to navigate through all the resources, online resources for my grandson. And I always got the help that I needed at the time.
Thank you, Veronica. Here you'll see an SAUSD FACE impact report from October through March. So the department put together a new data collection system starting in October, as you'll see to see the overall impact that the FACE practice was having on the community throughout the pandemic. So this is just one infographic, like I stated, from October to March. And you'll see here that the 36 FACE partners throughout the district had over 70,000 one-on-one contacts with our community. And you'll see down below, the outreach has neared 3 million outreach contacts to our families, staff, and community. And I'm sure these numbers have dramatically increased as we've moved now into May. Collecting this data was important for us to be able to see the impact that the FACE practice was having on the entire Santa Ana community. Here you'll see the Garfield impact report. And while some of the numbers are a little bit smaller, you'll see that my FACE worker is a district employee who is split between both my site and another site in the district. So these numbers are just part of the work that she has done. While the numbers for the academic support and the tech support are small, you can see the majority of the work that we have done is in the one-on-one contacts and the overall outreach, which that number exceeds 49,000. So the amount of communication that we're pushing out and sharing with our families has been a lot during this time. Sometimes we feel like it's a little excessive even, but we feel the best is to over communicate. Additionally, my FACE worker has been a vital part of every parent meeting throughout this year and is not reflected in these numbers, as well as the website contacts are not tracked in this report. And that's, like I said earlier, where parents are able to receive the information at their own time when they are ready for it. I'm sure these numbers have increased since March, as Leslie and I have been working together since she's joined Garfield. in March. So, and I know that as we move back into in-person learning, as we approach the fall, the impact that FACE will have at Garfield will be greatly increased. So at this time, I'd like to turn it back to Susie, where she'll talk about the alignment of FACE in SAUSD.
Thank you so very much, Kerry. Vero, thank you so much for not only being a spokesperson, but for all the work that you do. Of course. So how is this working in a system such as ours, right? And before I forget, and I have it on my post-it here, I know that we're talking about SAUSD and how we've done these wonderful things, we feel, right? But I would be remiss not to mention the thoughtfulness, partnership, and mentorship that has been brought forth by Dee Dee and the Bakersfield team that have allowed us to grow upon their learning to enhance our practice. So Dee Dee, to you and your team, thank you for always being such a collaborative partner. So what does this mean? That the arrows are all focused on students' academic success. I alluded to it earlier. When we think about FACE, when we think about involvement, oftentimes we think about resources and creating this advocacy component. We seldomly connect it to supporting parents and accessing this monster that is the American educational system. So how do we inform this not only for our families, but also for our staff? We make sure that the data, as you have seen, is present and available so that we can quantify how we are impacting our community. We make sure that the wellness centers are there to support boots on the ground when a family comes in and has those basic needs, it's almost like the triage component. We have the capacity building, and we're partnering with Scholastic. We partner with amazing districts such as Bakersfield to make sure that we're developing support systems within SAUSD to enhance the understanding and practice of family and community engagement. And our amazing specialists are in the process of developing a TOT that I'm going to talk about it in a little bit to continue this capacity building and handing it over to our families, because they are, as it was mentioned during the opening, the first teachers, the first instructors, and the lifelong instructors of our students. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the SAUSD Family Partnership Program and what that's going to mean. So what are some of the things that we are doing? As a district, we are part of the District System Design Partnership Program. Both Kerry and I are part of this, and this is through an organization that is helping us understand what are these effective practices, what are these systematic changes and conditions that need to exist in order for our systems to be completely aligned and laser focused on student outcomes. We are an educational system, and although we provide wraparound services, at the end of the day, our focus is ensuring that our students reach their potential by providing all the environmental components necessary and eliminating any barriers. And Kerry and I are also part of the National Institute for School Leadership. And if you want information, I will let you know. But both of these are part of the National Center on Education on the Economy. And they look at worldwide educational systems, their function, and we reflect on that and see what components are functioning within our district and what needs to be changed. And that whole group on the DSDP is community partners, educational leaders, families. Who else do we have, Kerry? We have community members, families, staff.
District leaders.
Mm-hmm. Did I capture everything? I think I did, right? Yeah. All right. And what does the future look like? And I have to go back and say, where did we start? This humble story started when one of our city council members and one of our board members decided that one of our resource desert schools, as I like to call them, and the children there were not getting the resources, the families there were being impacted by different social and economic factors that were having an impact on student outcomes. The city was not able to provide the funding. The district decided to go forward with it. And now we are at this point where it is not this resource lens, but again, and I say this a lot, but it's so important to me, it's this student outcome lens. So, okay, so I told you we were going to talk about Parent University. what are we focusing on? We're focusing on the basics: math readiness, college and career readiness, emergent bilingual, and literacy. Where are we? We're working, our 4 specialists are working on a trainer model, and they're working with curriculum specialists. They're working with our partners at Scholastic to develop this, what to expect when, so that parents do authentically engage and have a deep understanding of what their journey looks like as they walk with students. The idea is for our parents, our families, to matriculate and support our children as our children matriculate. And the SAUSD Family Partnership Program was developed out of our School Climate Committee in collaboration with the Orange County Labor Federation that already had parenting and leadership classes, and now we're embedding it to really make sense for SAUSD, be culturally reflective, but also be academically reflective. And this is a partnership that includes everyone in the School Climate Committee, which is composed of family, the community, and staff, as well as students. This is one of my favorite. This gives you a visual of where we're going and how we're getting there, right? So in spring of 2021, we're working on the TOT, and we're working on the partnership program. As you can see, starting in the fall, we are going to implement the parent university, continue the development of the other 2, so that by fall of 2022, we're going to have a co-led parent university with families and SAUSD. And that is what you call capacity building of our families, so that they can authentically be the leaders in their students' success. So what does integration look like? And this is where I'm going to have Leslie help me out a little bit, right? But the teaching and learning component, the school performance and culture, ensuring that we are part of all the parent groups, the DAC and DLAC, migrant ed, special education. But what does it look like? Leslie, you want to take it on?
So no, yeah, definitely. We're always, creating these genuine relationships with their families. So we're always doing outreach with them. We also are bringing in programs and partnerships that we could initially use for the benefit of the student's success and their social emotional well-being. We also work with the staff in providing the need that they might see that what is the need for them. So what is the secret sauce to our student success? It is families. Like I said previously, we are always putting forth our families and creating, building genuine and trustful, definitely keyword trustful relationships, because we want them to feel comfortable enough to come to us when they do need their assistance. So this does conclude our presentation. Thank you so much for your time. We actually have included the QR code for the SAUSD face and the Garfield Google site. You guys could go ahead and contact us there and find our directory if you guys do have questions, or if you would like to just reach out. But you will find all of our communication platforms on those 2 QR codes.